My name is Brian. You can just call me Def. This is the Sorely Wrestling Review, and that was NXT Takeover New York. And what a fucking show. Shows like this are why I like wrestling. Just top to bottom, the entire almost 3 hours of it was impactful. It was dramatic. It delivered on every aspect, from the characters to the story work to the in-ring athleticism. The show was fantastic. This is NXT again being the best fucking show you can watch in North America. One of the best shows in the entire world. The show was stacked. Like, non-spoiler grade for this show, it's an A. Go fucking watch it. I think I just said that about WrestleMania, but the show was so fucking good. If you're a fan of wrestling, if you like the wrestling part of it, and not the overly dramatic flair and the other bits that sort of make it look flashier, and how the mainstream WWE products has shifted the last decade or so, wrestling at its core is what you'll find here, and it is fantastic. To run down the show, we'll go top to bottom on the card. The show kicks off with your tag match. You've got the War Raiders, Hanson and Rowe, versus Aleister Black and Ricochet, the winners of the Dusty Cup Tag Team Classic. 4 or 3? I forget now how many that they're on. This match has two of NXT 6. Aleister Black and Ricochet are two of the most talented guys to step through that company, and easily like one of the biggest guys in all of NXT. Rowe and Hanson have been like your dominant bruiser tag team champions, but they haven't had a whole lot of time on TV recently, because the Tag Team Classic has taken up most of NXT's programming recently. Then the issue surrounding the main event, which we'll get to, took away the rest of the time. You didn't get to see a lot of Hanson and Rowe on the build up to this. It was just, a couple months ago they were destroying the tag team division and they were gone. So it's kind of odd to go into this to see where they would be. And they came out like champions, and they performed like champions. Your MVP for this match is fucking Hanson. In a match with Aleister Black and Ricochet, your MVP is the 300-pound fucking Hanson. And this dude is flying across the ring, diving through the fucking ring ropes. 300-pound man diving through the ring ropes, moonsaulting off the top rope. There is a spot, I swear to God, where Hanson hits a springboard back clothesline to fucking Ricochet. What in the actual hell is happening here? And it's not just that he's playing out of sight. He still uses his size to their advantage. Like, there are spots where Rowe will pick up Hanson and slam him because he's the heavier guy. There was a moment later in the match towards the end of it where Aleister Black hits his Black Mask. He hits the finish on Rowe. And then Ricochet goes up to hit the 630 splash. And as they go for the pin, Black is trying to guard the pinfall like you would in a normal tag team match. And Hanson is having none of it. Just picks up the dude and like full fucking football tackles him halfway across the ring to break up the pin. Just the entire match is crazy shit like this. And don't let it take away from the fact that Black and Ricochet are still wrestling as some of the best parts of their career at this point. They're clicking as a tag team so very well, but Hanson just blew my goddamn mind. It was crazy to watch. The match finishes with poor old fucking Ricochet getting squished. Just for lack of a better phrase. When you have the two Raw Warriors, the two machines coming down on top of you, there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, NXT TakeOver has a tradition of opening with stellar tag matches, and this doesn't disappoint in any way. It lives up to any of those other ones. It's a great match, and I wonder what they're doing from here. After the finish, the War Raiders take their bow, and then they leave, so Aleister Black and Ricochet can get a moment in the ring to say goodbye to the NXT crowd. It looks like they're taking turns, they're bowing and hugging, and they're main roster bound, which shouldn't surprise anybody. They've been fighting for the Raw titles last Monday, and going forwards, they'll probably end up on SmackDown, if I had to guess. But who knows? Well, with the Revival sort of like on the outs, I don't know where they're going from this. I don't know what's going to happen to these two, and I hope if they stick as a tag team, I hope that they're skyrocketed to the top where they stay at that level. I think long term, they're better as separate acts still. I think Aleister Black and Ricochet are much better individually than they are as a tag team. Though they are a good tag team, I think they could be like great singles competitors. So I'm hoping this little excursion into the tag division doesn't end up being the entirety of their main roster, because I think they're worth more than that. Moving on from that is your North American Championship. It's Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle. And the build-up to this feud has been fairly interesting. Like, it's been all about Riddle trying to get under the skin of Velveteen Dream. And when you look at their characters, it should be the other way around. Like, Dream is the antagonizer. He's the one who's always been trying to push and prod and poke their buttons and had this real cool allure about him, like he's impenetrable. And you would imagine the play would be trying to get under Riddle's skin, because Riddle is like this really chill bro sort of super guy, you know? He's not rattled normally, and the build-up to this match has been Riddle trying to get into the head of Dream. It's a very odd build for how their characters are aligned. And as the match gets underway, you see it flip back to the traditional sense, because as the match goes on, Riddle does most of the work. He is a much younger, more athletic challenger, and they book it properly. Like, the legit fighter does most of the fighting. And as the match goes on, though, the willpower of Velveteen Dream keeps getting a kick out, and you see Riddle slowly get more frustrated and get more aggressive and more dangerous, and it costs him. It costs him the match. As he goes for the finish, he gets caught in a roll-up, and that's the 3 count. What? It's one of those I figured one of them's probably main roster bound, and honestly, you could probably send both of them up there and you wouldn't be out of place. It's a very odd finish. The storyline in this match was fantastic, and if they do continue this, if there is another match, I'll be more than happy to see it, because I think there's a lot more you can do here. The finish caught me by surprise. It really did. Not in a bad way. I like every match not ending with a finisher. I like there to be some variety, and on top of a good match following the amazing opener match, I think this is what the show needed. So I'm not complaining. I'm just interested to see how they play to it from here. After that, it jumps to NXT UK, where we've got the Ring General Walter versus Pete Dunne and his absurd 680-day title reign with the NXT UK Championship that he won from Tyler Bate at TakeOver. I don't even remember which one. It was like 2 years ago at one of the TakeOvers. And Dunne has just been crazy. If you're not following NXT UK, I mean, it's a really good show. It's on the network if you're outside of the UK anyways. It's worth a watch if you can squeeze in an episode here or there. But long story short, Dunne is basically God over there. I mean, for as long as he's had his title reign, obviously everyone is trying to get at him, and no one can break through the veneer until along comes Walter. If you're not familiar with Walter, if you've not seen his work, this dude has been tearing it up across the European scene and the British wrestling scene for the last year, essentially, is when he's kicked it into a high gear. He's had stunning 5-star matches with like Zack Sabre Jr. and Ospreay. Getting signed to WWE, you figured the second he was in NXT, he was getting skyrocketed to the championship, and what do you know, his first segment coming in is interrupting Pete Dunne and getting himself his title match. The match itself is fantastic. If you're a fan of the British style of wrestling, that is what you're getting here. You're getting the 2 representations. You're getting the Smash Mouth, I will fuck you up sort of brawling backwoods, Smash Mouth style of wrestling in Walter. And then you get the more traditional, very technical and very strategic style with a lot of holds and joint manipulation that you'll see Pete Dunne try to use throughout this match. Including the spot that just one of the most obnoxious things to me in wrestling is the whole finger break thing. I think in kayfabe, you're not breaking their fingers, you're just like dislocating them. But it's always bothered me so much because most of the people just shake it off and go back to where, if your fingers were dislocated, your hand would be useless. Just, sorry, it is what it is, but the match itself was stunning. These two had a lot of time, and they used every bit of it to tell an incredible story. It's a story, it's not your traditional big guy, little guy sort of thing. It's not, the speed of Dunn and the brawn of Walter, though Walter's brawn plays a part of it. Dunn is going the more technical route, like his character is. Like, they didn't subvert their characters to fit your traditional storylines. They wrestled their styles, and it worked so fucking well together. The finish of the match is Dunn got caught. He tried to go for his finish. Couldn't get the dude up. There was actually a spot where he hit the finish, and it was a kick out. And then later in the match, he tries for it again and couldn't get him up. Walter counters with this disgusting fucking shot to the head. And then he goes up, hits a splash, and that's all she wrote. I mean, this match is amazing. It's one of the contenders for match of the night. Like, it was really fucking good. Going forward from here, what do you do in the UK scene? Because Walter just destroyed. I mean, I don't want to say destroyed. Like, it's a very definitive win, though. You can't get Pete Dunne back in there after 600 some odd days. You don't want to go right back to that. So what do? Where does Pete Dunne go from here? Where does Walter go from here? I mean, there's plenty of guys you can get back in there. You could get Tyler Bate back, or a couple of the other guys. It's like a stepping stone for Walter for, a title defense or two. But long term, I'm not sure what they want to do from this. And it'll be very interesting to see what the hell happens from that one. After that, we have the women's match. This is Shayna Baszler defending against Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Bianca Belair. Probably the weakest match on the show, and I'm saying that in order of amazing, amazing, fantastic, and good. So it's not a bad match. It's just it's your traditional Fatal 4-Way, which is very hard to tell a cohesive story when you have so many moving elements. And you've got someone like Bianca Belair, which I've never understood. I don't get what her character is supposed to be. I don't get the point to her. I don't see the charisma or the reason she keeps getting the push when you have such crazily talented people in that roster. Like the other two in this match, like Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, who were the story of this match. You have these two in there. And else on the roster, you have Candice LeRae. I just never understood why Bianca was continuing to get the spotlight. And she had a good match. She delivered where she needed to. She was massive in the muscle department. There's a spot where she picks up both of the Japanese women and hits her EST finisher. So she looked great. I just don't get her in the broader context of things. Going back to what I said about Io Shirai and Kairi Sane being the story of this, obviously they were a tag team before this match. So the first half of the match, you see a lot of the two of them working together, trying to take out Shayna Baszler, trying to take out Bianca Belair. There's a moment early into the match where the two of them are left alone, and they have a very brief exchange, just wet the whistle, just give you a taste of what this is going to be like later. And they immediately, as the action's starting to pick up, as they start to build up speed, Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler cut them off, and it goes back to everyone trading in and out as they get their spots in. Later in the match, though, it gets back to the two of them, and this is where they really, really tear into each other, and you can see the struggle and the emotion in the two of them as they don't want to hurt each other. They're tag team partners, they're friends. And you can just see the pain and the struggle, and Kairi Sane in particular, because she got most of the offense. She doesn't want to hurt her friend, and she gets Io Shirai on the ground, and she goes to the top rope. You can see her crying because she's like, "I'm gonna have to elbow drop my best friend. I don't want to do this." It's beautiful. That's the struggle of this match is between the two of them. As she is going up to the top rope, that is when Bianca Belair cuts her off. Gets her up, gets both of them up, hits her finisher, and Shayna Baszler, like a fucking bat out of hell, immediately jumps in there, grabs Bianca Belair and gets her into the Karafuda clutch, her sleeper hold basically, her rear naked choke. And Bianca Belair, to her credit, sells it like fucking death. She is terrified of this thing, clawing at the eyes and pulling at the hair, doing anything she can to break out. But it's not enough. Eventually, she succumbs to it. She taps out. Shayna Baszler retains without the help of her partners, without the other two of the four horsewomen. And that's an odd finish to me. You figured with Ronda Rousey probably leaving after WrestleMania, because she's said before that she is probably going to take time off soon-ish. She didn't specify when, but most people are imagining after WrestleMania, after SummerSlam, she's wanted to start a family, and these are like the two big cutoffs to do it. So you figured Shayna was losing tonight. She had 3 opportunities. There's an excuse why she wouldn't retain if someone else took the pin. But she didn't. She won, and she won clean. She didn't cheat. She didn't do any of the other like bullshit shenanigans with interference. She won clean with her submission with the tap out. So what do you do from here? Do you send her to main roster just undefeated like they did with Asuka, like they did with Paige? I don't know. Or do they continue her reign of terror down in NXT? And if you do continue the reign of terror, who the hell does she fight next? Because the 3 that were in contention are already gone, and there's rumors that they just want to hotshot Candice up to main roster anyways, so I don't know. I question the booking decision here. I think it would have been better to give it to one of the other 3, but we'll see how they play out. NXT's always surprised me with how they've done their booking, so I'm sure whatever it is will play out. I'm just very interested to see what they do. After that, that's the 4th match, and we get to the 5th match, and this is your main event. This is part of why I love NXT, because everything is straight into the fucking point. There's no bullshit, there's no filler. The main event, it is 2 out of 3 falls. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. Originally, this was going to be Tommaso Ciampa's spot. He got injured, which sucks, because Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa their rivalry has been the best thing in NXT for like the last year. Their matches against each other have consistently been like my favorite matches in WWE. So it's a shame we didn't get to see that one more time, but the replacement here in Adam Cole is not a bad one. Adam Cole was phenomenal. If there's a guy in NXT that has the entire package, it's Adam Cole. Johnny Gargano, while probably the better wrestler with the more charismatic personality, isn't quite as well-rounded. His promo work, his character work, isn't as smooth, I should say. The match itself is fantastic, ignoring the fact that it's 2 out of 3 falls. I hate the stipulation with the passion, because whenever there's a 2 out of 3 falls match, and this is your high-profile, your pedestal match, the first 2 falls are worthless, because you always know they're going to get to the 3rd fucking fall. The first fall is always some quick, it's a finisher out of nowhere, or it's a schoolboy, and try and sell you on the fact that anything could happen. Oh, God, what the... They have a slow sort of opening feud, and then, out of a couple of quick pin attempts, schoolboy, roll up, jackknife. Adam Cole bounces off the rope, hits his last shot, the Shining Wizard knee looking effect, which is a beautiful finisher, by the way. Hits his last shot and immediately gets a 3 count like 5 minutes into the match. Fuck me. I just hate it. I just hate 2 out of 3 falls for this exact reason. It's not just a WWE thing. If you go back to my favorite match of last year, which was Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada at Dominion, 2 out of 3 falls, same fucking thing there, and it was a quick fucking roll-up, 10 minutes into their goddamn match. It's like, why? I just don't like it. I don't get it. I really don't. It's just stupid. Name one fucking 2 out of 3 falls match where it was your main event that didn't use all 3 falls. I can't even think of one. There is one undercard that I can think of. It was the Bar versus some tag team. The Usos, maybe, I forget who it was. They got like 2 back-to-back falls, and that was because their shit got cut short for time. Like, this is in your main event, it's going to go 3 falls every time, which makes the drama and the excitement of the first 2 falls stupid. And the match continues, and the second fall is very quickly, it's like 5-10 minutes or so later. Johnny Gargano, the action spills to the outside of the ring as it always does, and then once they get back into the ring, Gargano quickly locks in his Gargano escape, and Adam Cole taps out really fucking quick. The second the move is locked on, he taps out, which is a smart move. And they called to it on commentary because you know there's a third fall left. You don't want to risk injuring yourself when you can get a bit of buffer space. When he has to back off and you can catch your breath. Which I need to do right now. I mean, it was a great bit of psychology to get to this third fall here. I just wish you didn't have these first 2 speed bumps ruining the pacing of the match. You know what I mean? I just don't like it. Getting to the third fall, the bulk of the match, I want to say it's like the last 15 minutes of the match is longer than either of the first 2 put together, it seemed like. This is where the match kicks into high gear, and this is where the 2 of them have one of the best performances you'll see in all of TakeOver. It is that fucking good. It was filled with drama and emotion, and Adam Cole is really healing it up. It's like, you don't deserve this goddamn title. This is my fucking time. And Gargano is like the purest of white meat, purebred babyface, just fighting through all of the struggles to finally get what is his. Towards the end of the match, you get interference from the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole hits the last shot, gets the pinfall, and only gets a 2 count. I mean, this near fall literally like blew the roof off of the place. It's one of those you're like, what the fuck? Just no one's kicked out of this goddamn move. Like, it is a very well protected move. And once Johnny Gargano got that shoulder up, people lost their goddamn minds. It was so fucking good. As the match goes on further, Gargano gets Adam Cole out to one side. So he, instead of taking out Adam Cole, runs to the outside on the other part of the ring to take out the Undisputed Era. Launches one guy into the barricade and then into the light post. Grabs the other guy, goes for a tornado DDT on him onto the outside. And as he's whipping around, kicks the third guy in the face as he plants him. It's a fantastic spot. It gets back in the ring. Gargano dodges another last shot, immediately turns it over, locks in the Gargano escape. Cole was fighting for his goddamn life, and it's just not enough. He taps off. The place fucking explodes, and Gargano is a Grand Slam champion in NXT. Finally, you're fucking champion, Johnny Gargano. What a fucking match. Like, this match is stellar. As much as disdain as I have for the stipulation, for the gimmick, the match itself as a whole was amazing. The story was so well done, and listening to me ramble about it doesn't do it justice. Watch the match. Watch the show. This entire show, it's short compared to the other shows of the weekend. It's only slightly under 3 hours, but it's the best 3 hours in wrestling today. There's not a single dull point. There's not a single spot in this. Like, I didn't care for that. Like, everything delivered. Go watch it. My name's Brian. That's been NXT Takeover New York. See you next time.